Guess what our topic is tonight? ISKCON 50. Is there a plan? If you know, are you aware of a plan in place for our Naperville Center for celebrating ISKCON 50? Yes? There's a plan? There is a plan. There's one event. There's one ISKCON 50 event. Okay, that's good. That's one of 7 petals that are being shown here. You'll see. It may be a worldwide phenomena, but for sure, it's an American journalism factor. When an organization exists for 50 years, it's newsworthy. Which means, more or less, for some leader, a charismatic leader of some type or another, to get together a following around himself, that comes and it goes. And commonly, after a leader passes from this world, whatever that leader created fades. It doesn't continue, doesn't endure. But it's noteworthy when something 50 years means it's after at least another generation of followers continue whatever that noteworthy vision or idea or ideology or cause or something, ism, continues. And so media pays attention. I learned that from our communications minister. Actually, all of us in ISKCON. There's a very skilled devotee. You can sit here if you want. If you want to sit in the back, that's okay too. Somebody's stuff in your jacket or whatever it is. Place it somewhere. All right. Anutama Prabhu, has he come to visit here in Naperville? No. Anutama, Prabhupada disciple, is a global minister for communications. He inherited that service from Mukunda Goswami. You probably, if you've read Lilamrita, you know Mukunda's name. So Mukunda did that service for years and years, decades, and then turned that service over to Anutama. So around the world, Anutama has established a global ISKCON 50 committee that has taken it upon themselves to create media. You're going to see one of those products before I finish this evening. A magazine publication, which I forgot. I left the sample that was given to us at our GBC meeting. But for about 1.5 to 2 years before this beginning, he has been encouraging, and for globally, and then also nationally and locally, to make a plan. And one of the ideas specifically, I don't know if it's been done here, but to establish contacts with the media, because he's a communications guy. So if you have a relationship with a communications person And practically anything that's going on, that's ISKCON 50 related, they'll publish it. We have the opportunity this year, and after this year we can say this is our 51st year. It's no big deal. 50 is a big deal. 51 is not a big deal. So if we could bring to the attention of the public what ISKCON is, and even just letting them know that we exist and what we are, and it's part of our life as devotees, is to have them understand who is Krishna, who is Prabhupada, what is Bhagavad Gita, what's our thing, what's our message to the world, what gifts have we given to the world, what ways can we of service, are we being of service to the world. And you see in this little video clip that it does that, and it's quite impressive. Probably you all don't know about it. All of the the numbers and the variety of things. It's pretty impressive. Just as for example, before Premananda went to India to attend the GBC college, and then whatever else she did while she was in India, there was a group of about 100 students, along with a couple of professors, that came to the center. I informed her about the video. She got an advanced copy of the video. It took a little doing to get it, and showed it to the students. And for the students, it was a wow experience. And then then a relationship with the professors, and they want to come again annually, and it's in a certain way, it's helping us to integrate within society in general, so that society in general can understand who we are, and be accepting of us, rather than they don't know who we are, and we're just obscure, or they think they know who we are, and to them it may appear strange. And what do you do anyways, you people? How do you help the world be a better place, and things like that. So if you become inspired, hopefully, in addition to the one event, the principal ISKCON 50 event that you're planning for Naperville Center, if any of you become inspired to do any one of these things, some of these tools may be helpful. The magazine, they printed, I think it's 400,000, and they're planning to print another 600,000 to make a million copies worldwide in English, and it's really well done for just introducing people to Krishna consciousness. Kind of like years ago there was a magazine, Who Are They? Or the Hare Krishnas. So this it's more sophisticated and better, and a good team of people put it together. So this is an opportunity worldwide for the world to come to understand more about the Hare Krishna movement. And it started, at least when Prabhupada left Calcutta, there was a commemorating the 50th year of his boarding the Jaladuta. Maybe you're aware of this. There was a 3-day festival in Calcutta. They rented an indoor air-conditioned stadium in Calcutta that accommodated something like 30,000 people, and it was filled for 3 days, every day. And, government people and entertainment people and celebrity people and intellectual people and so forth were speakers and kirtan and so forth. Very well advertised. It made a splash for the people of that part of India to know ISKCON 50. And then as the boat, the Jaladuta, stopped in two places, Cochin and one other place in South India. So they had a big festival and then another big festival. And that was in August of last year. And then in September of last year was Prabhupada's arrival, because that's before ISKCON was incorporated. So the celebration is around the incorporation date of ISKCON 50, or ISKCON Inc. And so Prabhupada's arrival in the Boston Harbor. So it was a big festival. Prabhupada's arrival in the Boston Harbor. The weekend before that, for all of U.S. and Canada, we held a huge gathering in Texas, and celebrating like the kickoff for our activities. And it was a nice event. Many sannyasis came, many people came, and honoring the contributions of ISKCON to the world in different ways. So it's internal celebration and external communication is the idea, to different audiences of external. So starting over the calendar year, January 2016, commenced, the 50th anniversary officially, and in North America. So that's the global group. They have banners, they have magazine, they have 3 different film and video presentations. I'm showing you one of them, but there's another larger one that's not this one is shorter. This is 20 minutes. That's like a full length on the same theme with very talented people working on it. So nationally, a group of 8 persons representing temples in North America, communicating with their regional and local temples, came up with an ISKCON 50 plan, which I'm going to show you. The idea was that we were calling the areas of focus as petals of ISKCON's lotus. Here this gives the background. The 50th anniversary represents a significant milestone in the life of any organization, and it provides an excellent occasion for a group to create momentum as well as plan for the future. ISKCON 50th anniversary, so they decided to put those 2 words into one word, ISKCON 50, gives our society just such an opportunity for growth, and our team has decided on 6 ways in which to better take advantage of this. Best take advantage. So there's the petals. Miscellaneous is whatever you'd like. The one that we'll go through them one by one, but the first one that's identified is this: the internet, because it's perhaps the most underutilized and perhaps one of the most advantageous ways of getting a message out to a lot of people. Now, I don't know so much about how to do that, but there are those that do. And this is just sharing with you. There's a group of devotees. One of them is Chandrasekhar Swami. He's a resident sannyasi at the New York Temple. Our rooms are adjacent to one another, so I know very much about what he's doing. And a group of other people that have interest in the internet. They've built a website, and their intention is to load on that website information for the public about ISKCON 50 and ISKCON in general. And then there's another group of persons. One of them, Gopal Bhatta Prabhu, another Prabhupada disciple, has basically formed a ministry for internet outreach, and he made a presentation. It was perhaps the most appreciated presentation because it was so together, helping temples use their already existing internet presence, mainly their temple website, and how to make it more user-friendly and more attractive and more functional. And you can like a 2-hour presentation basically on marketing, using language of the corporate world and some of the principles of the corporate world, but because he's a very qualified devotee, to translate that into marketing Krishna consciousness through the use of the internet. So they have a staff of people that want to really provide good resource material for temples to use on their internet, and if they like, they can put it up on their internet for them, or they can just supply it and they can use it however they want to, or to help us be more branded, using another corporate term, because all over the place things are not. He spent some time showing temples. The Toronto temple has this kind of internet presence, and it's good in these ways and weak in those ways, and it could be much better. Next one, Los Angeles, is this, and the next one, and next one. So helping us to strengthen our internet presence, basically, and as it says, brand consistency. It's a topic that those of you that come from and have experience in the corporate world, these are common things, but ISKCON doesn't do these common things, and we could be, and we would be benefited. We would help the message go forward and be accepted by people if there was more of this. So that's, and any one of these things, if this is something that you're interested in, I'm giving names, and you could follow up with Premananda to connect with those people to see maybe you could be a participant locally or nationally. Contacting and connecting the public. Well, the vision globally and nationally and in some places locally is getting messages out, and then giving ways for those people who we newly come in contact with to connect with the resources that ISKCON has, depending upon people's different interests. We'll speak something in a little bit about books and book distribution as being one of them. But then, for example, systems of following up. Once people have a book or a set of books or a number of books, keeping in touch with them, keeping them connected with Krishna consciousness, just like we might consider people that, and I've encouraged Premananda a whole lot, like repeatedly on this one, people that come to the temple. And not just they come to the temple and nobody speaks to them, but somebody speaks to them, and then there's some follow-up after their visit. So we keep in touch with them in different ways, in ways that they don't feel it's intrusive, but it's welcomed. And we're increasing our circle of friends and well-wishers. They may not be sadhakas, but they can be in the category of friends and well-wishers. Making arrangements for either regional or national large festivals, like was planned for Houston, I mentioned, and they're planning to do something again in 2016, and they're hoping that it may become an annual thing. Another is just whatever it is that we do. It's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, is we regularly have home gatherings. So I'm ISKCON 50-izing a home gathering. And in fact, we were asked to do so in our GBC meeting throughout the whole year. And when I go to China, I'm being asked by the local leaders when I visit there to connect whatever it is that I'm doing with the devotees, as well as programs with the public that connect it with ISKCON 50. So 50 eyes everything that we do. So It's part of my service to ISKCON and to all of you, is to encourage you to think that way, particularly for this year, because as we think that way, the message will go out, and if the message goes out, other people will say, hey, what's going on? And then we can give them some of the tools or resources that can educate them more than whatever they know yesterday. Tomorrow they can know something more of what is ISKCON, what are its resources, what does it offer to the world. Here's another really big one, and that's membership drive and census. It's connected with something that Prabhupada asked in the 1970s, we still haven't done, which was kind of a no-brainer, that he wanted us to have a constitution, an ISKCON constitution. Maybe you didn't know this, but ISKCON doesn't have a constitution. So starting in 2007, headed by Shesha Prabhu, who is an immigration attorney, in case you need an immigration attorney, that's what he does for a profession. And he's our chairman of our GBC Global this year, so he's a busy person this year. But he headed up a group of about 10 devotees that worked on a constitution. And they thought about, should it be broad or narrow, should it be principle-centered, should it be rules, so they went through that exercise of what should a constitution, because there are different types. And they got everything. It took, to get devotees to agree on something like that takes a while. But, revisions and refinements and feedback and changes. And so the sticking point was, who's a member of ISKCON? And we'll probably all have been asked one time or another, if not hundreds of times, how many members are there? And the answer is, we don't know. An honest answer is, we don't know. So we would like to know. And so finally, it was an interesting procedure, but finally after about 5 years, we have now a definition of a member that's going to go into the Constitution. And then also there's a membership drive or some plan that some persons are organizing, and it was supposed to happen at Gaur Purnima, and it didn't. But some way for our local devotees, the membership statement is quite simple. It says, I wish to be counted as a person who accepts the teachings of Bhagavad Gita as given by our founder, ISKCON's founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, and I wish to assist in living and giving the message of Bhagavad Gita to others. A little disclaimer that says, I know this doesn't give me any legal rights, I can't sue ISKCON because now I'm a member. Just happen to be in a world that people like to do that these days. Is not so gross, but it just doesn't entitle me to legal privileges, but it gives me an opportunity with voluntary spirit to render some service to the cause of ISKCON. So ISKCON membership. There's a plan, the language you'll see soon, I hope, because there's a good team of people working on making a membership drive. So at some point in time we can say, you'll see some numbers in the video. It's, good guess of how many members there are in ISKCON today. And at least where the local devotees are vigorously reaching out to the public, informing them about ISKCON 50, more and more people will, and media, more and more people will come just out of curiosity. Hey, what are you people? Like it happens to me. I travel like this. Just like on the flight from New York to Chicago, the stewardess came over and had a chat for about 5 minutes about, what order of monk are you? And I said, I'm a Krishna monk. Usually these days they say, do you mind if I ask, are you a Buddhist monk? They don't, I said, no, I'm a Krishna monk. And they go, oh, what's that? Krishna monk. So it gives me a chance. So just by putting information in front of people of what ISKCON 50 is, more people will come just out of curiosity to find out. And just the out of curiosity people, it's a valuable opportunity to educate, inform, share, make friends, that kind of thing. And then the miscellaneous bucket. So something that I had wanted to do, but I just got too busy today to do it. We're having an event in New York related to ISKCON Incorporation, the 7 purposes of ISKCON. There's like a copy of the Articles of Incorporation. You can see Certificate of Incorporation. And then there's, when you incorporate in the state of New York or anywhere, you have to state what your purposes are, so the government can decide what category do you fit under. So we were registering, Prabhupada was registering, as a religious corporation, here's our purposes. So we're going to have an event in New York at 26 2nd Avenue where this was done in July 1966, honoring the 7 purposes of ISKCON. So a little document, I had meant to have it printed so I can give you a copy, but instead we'll do it on Sunday. And you can learn about what that event is. It's part of a 14-day event. It's 2 days out of 14 days. One of them being going to Tompkins Square Park. You're going to see Tompkins Square Park in the video. And they show you the tree. It's called the Krishna tree. I'll mention this. If you're curious, go to Guru Google, and he'll tell you all about the Krishna tree at Tompkins Square Park. Go New York City Parks Department, Tompkins Square Park. Google that one. It'll take you to a page where they call it the Krishna tree. On the New York City Parks Department calls it the Krishna tree. And they have a little video clip of Allen Ginsberg being interviewed on the David Susskind show when he's talking about Hare Krishna, chanting, and Prabhupada chanting under the Krishna tree. It's like, the New York City's bragging about the fame of that park because Prabhupada chanted there. So we're having an event. You'll hear about it in the video. We're having an event to honor that place because it's the first place where the Hare Krishna mantra was publicly chanted in the Western world. It's very historic, this event. So you can learn about it if you happen to be in New York on that weekend of the first weekend of June. You can certainly come and participate, and otherwise you can participate remotely. The flyer will describe that. So I want to do 2 other things. One is show you the video, and the other is repeat several times, because I'm going to do it again on Sunday, because it's part of my mandate to do so, so please excuse me. I'm fulfilling my requested obligation. Please consider, in addition to the one public event that you're planning for ISKCON Naperville, to consider how in this year, because the time is ticking and it'll be gone, the window of opportunity will be gone, how to bring the message of ISKCON 50 into the public, or to internally celebrate. So now, one of those ways that if it's nothing else, it's something that you can participate, because globally ISKCON is doing, and that is, it's called 50/50, which is all of our members who signed this thing saying, yeah, I like the teachings of Bhagavad Gita given by Prabhupada. I want to facilitate delivering that message to others by making a pledge. You have pledge forms? Making a pledge in the course of this year that I will personally distribute 50 books. You can certainly distribute 50 times 50 books, but at least 50 books times all of our members all over the world, and that's a great increase of honoring ISKCON 50. And if we get these, when we get these magazines, because they had to be pre-ordered, it's not a BBT publication, it's people who gave some money that can't then get the book that they paid for, a magazine, just distribute 50 magazines. And you can distribute them for free. You can buy them and distribute them for free, or give them to people and request a donation, or anything, or go with the devotees that are experienced at how to do this and learn from them how to do this, or whatever it is. Make a plan of go to some public event and meet people that don't know about Hare Krishna and give them an invitation to the temple in a little magazine or book, and invite them to read the book and take the book home and read it. Come on in. So ISKCON 50/50 is something that Vangshidhari knows all about. Have you spoken about it to the congregation already? Some devotees are already participating. Okay, so yeah, so it's organized. It's one of those few things that gets really well organized. Globally, there's a form, a pledge form, and then a little certificate you receive by making the pledge, and then receive the books. And he knows this, whatever the local arrangements are, and can help you find a way to distribute the books. And then if you distribute the books, you can get another 50 books or 500 books or whatever you like. It's a nice offering. I can share this with you. I think I mentioned it in one of my classes the other day. But there of all the things that pleased Srila Prabhupada, there were two things that were most outstanding, that were very, very clear for those that were serving him. When he would receive news of book scores from a temple that was really enthusiastic to distribute books, everything would stop, and he'd read the mail or the report of how many books, and just listen and appreciate. It was very important to him. And when new publications came from the printer, he would get an advance copy. Everything would stop. Whatever was going on, everything stopped, put to the side, and he'd look at the book and open the book, because he was trained in publishing, and so how the binding looks and how the color looks and the quality of the paper and everything. He was very, very keen on book publication and book distribution. So if one of those questions, how do you know if you're pleasing Prabhupada? There's one way you can know you're pleasing Prabhupada, is see that his books are published and distributed. At least that, and other things. If that one is not so appealing to you, find some other thing or things that ask Premananda, or think about the thing that you saw, or learn some more about what's going on. And it's an opportunity, a special opportunity. We all have busy lives, but this is an important year to celebrate and to communicate. Globally, as this goes on, it's going to have a major impact on opening doors that aren't now open, to give people the message of Krishna consciousness and have them take it in a favorable way. At least consider it in a favorable way. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the video. That's the last part. and I think you're going to like it. It's a little tricky how to get it to project, so you have to come, I think, help me. So what happens is it shows on my screen, but it doesn't show up here. You have to do something. You know what to do? Okay, so go ahead and do it. Control panel. It shows on my screen. There we go. Go back.
Here we are. Here we are, 26 2nd Avenue. Very few New Yorkers know the historical significance of this humble storefront. See the sign behind me? It says Matchless Gifts. It was the name of a curio shop that was here in the mid-60s, a name that turned out to be quite prophetic indeed. It's here where an ancient Eastern spiritual tradition took root and expanded throughout the world. This is where it all began, the very first Hare Krishna temple in the West. Take a look around. You can see how small it is. The Swami would come and sit on this end and lecture on the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Although the Hindu Vaishnava tradition, also known as Krishna consciousness, goes back thousands of years and still has millions of followers in India, it was a very new thing in the West. So, Bhaktivedanta Swami decided to incorporate his fledgling movement, and that happened in July 1966. He founded the movement as ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
When Srila Prabhupada came to this country, he did something that was quite daring, in the sense that his goal was to transplant a very well-established and very authentic and old tradition from India to the United States, to New York City, to the 60s counterculture. I mean, if you look at it comparatively, there couldn't be two more different cultures than these two.
Within 12 short years after he left India, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada traveled across the globe 14 times, initiated thousands of disciples, established over 100 centers, several farm communities, as well as various charity and educational organizations. But what happened to his legacy after he passed in 1977? Where does his organization stand now, 5 decades after he established it? It was underneath this tree on October 9th, 1966, that A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada held the first recorded outdoor chanting session of the Hare Krishna mantra outside of the Indian subcontinent. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is one of the most important activities for Krishna devotees.
We've got lots of singers here, lots of musicians, and lots of dynamic people who want to share their joy and their happiness and the purity of Harinam, of Krishna's names. And so there are quite a few different initiatives going on. The Harinam itself goes out every day. And that goes generally 2 to 3 hours. People from so many countries come here. So you can sing to all over the world when you come here on Harinam. With kirtan, sometimes they hold 6 to 8 hour kirtans where they invite the general public, anyone who wants to come.
I always come to kirtan to go deep inside.
Well, I cried even more than usual.
It connects me with happiness.
There's been kind of a surge over the last 15 years where we've seen more and more the youth of the Hare Krishna movement are just set alight by their desire to specifically do kirtan.
After years of planting seeds in the West, Prabhupada returned to India and with the help of his American and Indian disciples started building beautiful temples in the major cities and holy places there. One of his main projects was to build a spiritual city in Mayapur on the banks of the river Ganges.
Prabhupada was planning a project that was far bigger than ever had been attempted by anyone else.
A temple like this has never been built for hundreds of years. We want to make this like a gem.
This temple, the temple of Vedic planetarium, can unite the whole world and establish the peace and prosperity all over the world.
Mayapur is the home for all devotees.
I was born and brought up in England.
I was born in Cape Town, South Africa.
I was born in Detroit, Michigan, in America.
I'm from Brazil.
I was born in Bengal.
My wife, Maya Pureshwari, is from Ukraine.
I originally come from China. We actually had a visitor here once from the UN, and he said, wow, this really is the United Nations here. It's amazing how people can understand each other, although they're so different.
We have a oneness on the spiritual platform, and at the same time we recognize the differences. There's variety as well.
Mayapur is just a happy place.
Back in the early days, most of the devotees lived and served inside the
Я работаю по нефтяной компании полдня, в остальное время фотография, моя профессия.
There is no material reasons why this movement grew so much. Definitely, grace of Srila Prabhupada and his way of presentation, because so far we distributed millions of his books, probably around 20 million of Prabhupada's books, and people just by reading his books become devotees, become convinced. His presentation is absolutely unique.
I was interested in the literature, and I stayed in the movements because there was music. There was something I could connect to, and I could immediately find my role, my place in the community.
Behind me are a row of colorful tents. Inside of each of them is a different aspect of the central components of the culture of Krishna consciousness. Directly behind me is a booth called Books on Yoga and Meditation. They give the basis of our philosophy. Basically, that we're not this body, we're eternal spiritual souls.
A BBT, ela foi criada por Prabhupada há mais de 50 anos com o intuito de ter documentado, né, o seu conhecimento para poder levar para todas as pessoas, né, aquilo que ele acreditava.
Minha maior alegria na vida é esse serviço de tradução, porque eu sei que eu não estou beneficiando só a mim, mas eu beneficio as pessoas que têm acesso a esses livros. E a tradução também tem uma vantagem, algumas vezes eu gosto de escrever também, mas na escrita talvez apareçam as minhas imperfeições, as minhas debilidades, mas quando eu traduzo o livro de uma pessoa completamente qualificada, como os Goswamis ou Prabhupada, eu tenho certeza de que eu estou sendo um instrumento de uma mensagem perfeita.
Então, me inspirou muito, né, distribuir livros, porque foi também através dos livros que eu pude mudar de vida, né, mudar meu nível de consciência, né, que mudou completamente a minha vida. Então eu gosto, né, da ideia de oportunizar isso para outras pessoas, dar isso para outras pessoas, né, algo que foi maravilhoso na minha vida, que outras pessoas tenham a oportunidade.
A partir de 2009, em 2009 nós conseguimos distribuir 135 mil livros e desde então a nossa média anual é de 350 mil livros. A minha maior felicidade na vida é quando eu vejo que Prabhupada ele é reconhecido pelo serviço que ele fez e que faz para a humanidade.
Vegetarianism is one of the most important aspects of a Krishna conscious lifestyle. Devotees try to cause the least amount of suffering possible to other living beings. This is called ahimsa in Sanskrit. It's the principle of non-violence. Prabhupada and his followers have contributed tremendously to the fact of love and care, and is an integral part of the ancient spiritual Indian culture. When Prabhupada first started attracting followers, he personally cooked for them and personally fed them. Later on, he asked his disciples to make sure that no one ever went hungry within a 10-mile radius of any ISKCON center.
ISKCON Food for Life is the world's largest free food vegetarian program which serves out holistic meals to people all around the world at 6 different centers. The Food for Life initiative in ISKCON Mumbai started in 1980s and is still going very strong, where a holistic meal is served to people every day, morning and evening.
So we started this project in the year 2004. It was a very humble beginning. On the first day we went to one school which had only 900 students. 11 years down the road, we have set up 20 kitchens in different parts of the country. We have a presence in 8 states and we are feeding 1.2 million kids every day.
Although he started his mission in a big metropolis, Swami Prabhupada inspired his followers to establish farm communities, leading a lifestyle of simple living and high thinking. He taught them to respect nature and how to be self-sufficient, living off what the land and the cows provide.
Számunkra a környezetvédelem az nem csak egy jelmondat, amit kiteszünk valahova az ajtó fölé, és arról és aztán meditálunk nap mint nap, hanem mi gyakorlatban az életmódunk a legfőbb környezetvédelmi programunk. A közösségünkben 130-an élnek, és ehhez szükséges zöldséget, gyümölcsöt, gabonát, tejet, tejtermékeket meg tudjuk termelni. Gabonából több mint 10-szeres túltermelésünk van.
At the moment we have around 50 cows and oxen. We have our own water system, so Krishna Valley is completely off the grid. No gas, no water, no electricity is coming in. Krishna Valley has a really great reputation of being the largest sustainable eco-village in Europe.
Well, the stage program is winding down. The younger generation is really stepping up, taking on more leadership roles within the society and the organization of running festivals like this one.
I've always felt that my mission is to be of use. I have a teaching degree, so my primary job is teaching.
What we really look at is a holistic approach to education.
They teach science, they teach mathematics, they teach reading, they teach how to write, they teach how reading comprehension, and lots of other stuff, including about Krishna. And so that's why I really like this school.
Everything that we do, it's age appropriate. And it's done with the eye of just creating these positive spiritual experiences that they can look back on and want to continue or relive in some way.
I want to be an ecologist and save Krishna's trees.
I think ISKCON's contribution to the world around us has to do with the fact that it provides an authentic spiritual perspective on many of the issues that face us in the world today. We live in a world that is technologically very advanced, that is scientifically very accomplished, and yet a world where people are seeking community, they're seeking heart, they're seeking relationships with other human beings, and are seeking meaning and purpose in their lives. And what ISKCON does, I think, is provide the opportunity, provide a pathway to finding that meaning and living it in a day-to-day way that is at the same time connected to our world around us and yet gives meaning and hope for something much greater than we human beings can imagine ourselves.
So imagine creatively getting inspired and thinking of how to do something you've never done before, maybe. I'm used to doing things I've never done before. Maybe, contacting a local library and seeing if they could provide a room for free, and they'll do the advertising. You create a flyer and bring people together to understand something, and part of the something is they show this video, or something like that. Or something. I wish I had the magazines. I don't, but they're in the LA warehouse, and it's similarly like this, very good quality, getting the message across very clearly, not not too much, not too little, just contacting some local, if it's authorized to do this, contacting the local media, letting them know what's going on locally, what's going on globally, what's going on regionally. And they'll print it so people come to know. They'll come and do an interview and interview the leadership and the people and take pictures and put an article in the local paper. Or something. And if nothing else, become a pledger of the 50/50 book program, along with your the major event that you're planning. I understand Yogeshwar Prabhu agreed to be a guest speaker, and you'll be charmed by his skills as a public speaker. He's a very, very special person. He was our keynote speaker at our North American Leadership meeting, because he does stuff like this all the time. Very, very skilled person. So, celebrate and communicate the ISKCON 50 message somehow, individually, with small group, a larger group, collectively, globally. That's it. That's the presentation this evening. Any comments or questions? Yeah?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Regarding the membership program of ISKCON.
I'm listening.
Trying to frame the question. So, is it like those who are not registered or part of this formal membership program, they won't be encouraged to do service?
No. It's not. It's not. The purpose is not exclusion. The purpose is, to get a little organized.
As a follow-up question, Maharaj.
Huh?
I do understand the reason behind having a formal membership drive, so that
we know how many. We can answer in an honest way. We know how many members we have.
But then, what is the benefit for those who are signing up?
You just raise your hand. What's your benefit? Haribol. The same benefit.
It just sounds.
That's all. It's not just a numerical thing. It's being organized. I'm a member. There's not a fee or something, or just I accept. Sure, they could, and people can do whatever they want to do. This, especially in America, free country. There's no, motivation, like, we want to something. or exclude. We want to get people to go somewhere or to not be part of us or something. Celebrate. Haribol. Like that. Yes. In the back corner.
ISKCON 50 initially started, there was some groups started like code publication kind of thing.
Yeah.
The efforts again to put that together.
A core core publication? Yeah, that's done. ISKCON.org, ISKCON50.org. I think that was the website at the end. ISKCON50.org. Go there and you'll see they have stuff. Banners, flyers. This thing can be downloaded from there. You have your own copy in your home. You can do, there's they're not doing the local work. They're just a group of people without a budget trying to assist. There's some monies have been donated just to put this little video together, some little budget. Assisting what? Supporting the temples. Yeah. Yes. Go there and you'll see. And there's a North American coordinator named Nanda Sutta, based in Seattle, and he may be able to help if there's some particular interest. I know Premananda's been in touch with him a bunch. And whatever if he can't do something, he perhaps point to somebody that can do something. Just kind of the traffic coordinator of people with needs and people that can supply those needs. Okay. Oh yeah. Microphone, pass it up.
Yeah, ISKCON has been functioning for past 50 years. So, what is the role of the Constitution creating the Constitution at this moment, and what is going to change?
Nothing's going to, just more organization, more structure. I can't say it properly. If Shesha was in the room, he could say it properly. But my understanding is what he wanted to do was create a document that would tell people, that would be a statement of rights and responsibilities. And ISKCON is set up for people who do something, and here's our rights and here's our responsibilities. Something like that. Something like what Prabhupada did with the 7 purposes. It's stating like a vision, and then a vision that has categories. And if you there are those who have analyzed, the one follows the next, follows the next, follows the next. It's very logical, but there's different sections. Like he mentioned this one about farm communities. So it's not specifically Prabhupada said we want to. A purpose of ISKCON is to start farm communities. But he put it in more general terms. Demonstrate the principles of something, whatever the language was. Living with nature and connecting with God or something like that. So a constitution is like that, principle-based, but it's for people. So then that's like a response to your first question over there. Who is this? Who is the Constitution of ISKCON for? Well, it's for ISKCON's members. Well, who is it? What does it mean to be a member of ISKCON? That's what we struggle with, because there's broad and there's narrow and all kinds of ways you can look at it. So this one is a very broad one. The Constitution is for its members and a very broad definition of members. It's just to give more shape to something it's going on, but structure is nice, and orderliness is nice. That's why Prabhupada wanted it. As the society grows and grows and grows, it's growing. What does it mean to be a member of this organization? What is the organization? The Constitution says what the organization is. Yes.
Maharaj. So, looking at the last 50 years, and after Prabhupada departed, most of the credit for the success goes to you and many other direct disciples of Prabhupada.
Well, the credit goes to he who told us what to do, and we just tried to do it.
Yeah, but I was just thinking in terms of growth, right? So 50 years, and maybe by the time we die, it would be another 20 years. So the question comes, is the sustainability, right?
Yes, that's the question.
So, and by the time, we of Maharaj were direct, like there is some, I know.
I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think I understand. I'll say what I think you're saying in other language, having to do with unity and sustainability. So during Prabhupada's time, as during the time of any charismatic leader personality, the whatever sustainable and growth-oriented and unity existed, it existed because of Prabhupada's presence. And after Prabhupada departed, which is your statement, then there are those that had direct association with Prabhupada, and it's that direct association with Prabhupada and that loyalty to Prabhupada that's creating sustainability and unity to whatever degree there's unity. And then what's going to happen after those people are gone? I think that's your question. Is it sustainable? Is there going to be unity? Is it going to continue for another 50 years? The question you're raising is a topic that I'm going to be speaking about in Gitanagari over the Memorial Day weekend. And I'll just share with you. I'm discussing this topic with other GBC members because I don't want to just say this is my opinion, blah, blah. But deeply thoughtful individuals, what are their thoughts? Collectively glean their understandings and try to share it with others. Not like I've got the answers, but it's an important question. And Prabhupada gave us principles, and now how do we manifest those principles today so that you all are celebrating ISKCON 100. Or, these guys, ISKCON 100. How old are you now? How old? 6. So you will be 56 when we're celebrating ISKCON 100. And maybe you'll be one of the persons at the front of the table saying, "We did it. Maharaj inspired us and he gave us the tools." So, the people that understand the spirit and the principles and can follow the founder Acharya. So one of the very, very important elements is one of the guest speakers is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. And that's a gift that they will identifying with, becoming clear who he is amongst all Acharya. You'll hear it because Rabindra is going to speak. He wrote a booklet about it. It's downloadable at that website. There's a website dedicated to him. It's founderacharya. something. Brilliant. So that's being taught to everybody who takes the disciple course. becomes initiated, that level of commitment to within ISKCON. So that's how it's going to be possible. And if the education and training element gives the hearts of people that wish to be connected to something genuine. I mean, that was just little sharing. That's something that was a very important to my family members, because I didn't grow up with, Bhagavad Gita and Hare Krishna. And my mother and father and my siblings, they don't know Hare Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. They know me. So their concern is, am I connected with something that's genuine? Because they don't understand Bhagavad Gita or Hare Krishna, but they understand, is the tradition something genuine? So those that wish to be connected to something of a genuine, like he said, an ancient tradition, very, very genuine, very pure, then it's going to take those people that are in a leadership position and understand the principles that our founder Acharya gave. And the success of the sustainability in the next 50 years is finding persons who have that capacity and empowering them, training them, qualifying them. It's not going to be easy. It'll be really easy to, fizzle. It's easy to start something. It's a whole other thing to sustain something. Yes. Historically, that's what happens. Historically, there are persons. I'm going to be attending an organization development committee meeting. That's a global group that I'm part of. Exactly this is exactly one of the topics as an organization, our little committee is looking at it, conveying that back to our leadership, which is historically, there's one brilliant member, kind of like a PhD type of person, that has studied the life cycle of organizations that last and those that don't last. And it's one of the courses that's taught at the GBC College for persons that are in leadership positions. So what do we need to do to be in the category of the ones that last, and don't make the mistakes of the ones that don't last? Historically, there are principles. So, it's not something that I learned when I was, a new devotee 46 years ago. I didn't learn, this topic. But our leaders are going to need to know this topic and do the right things and avoid doing the wrong things that bring about extinction. And fracturing is one of the things that happens over, some key issues. Philosophy and rituals, basically. You have something? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Following up Shankar's question here. Talked about expansion, right?
Yeah.
But millennials are the one in America, West, which are going to expand because of age, 20 to 35.
Yes.
Right? So there comes a question with social media and other things coming into being, right? Facebook, Twitter.
I'm listening.
Else. So I'm trying to understand that what we could do to expand the social media as a tool, to expand that so that we could have a book distribution and everything else through the social media.
There are persons like you that think a lot about this. And there's some persons like you that know a lot about this. And the idea is to get those persons that think a lot about this and know a lot about it together, and then assist those of us that don't know a lot about this and don't think a lot about this to at least become a little bit aware, and then get the endorsement to go forward and make a stronger presence. Use that tool. And Gopal Bhatta he's a leader. And he knows other people that are millennials that understand it also, and they're willing to follow a leader if there's a leader. but they're not going to just go off and do something other than because that's not their position. So you might want to contact Gopal Bhatta. I can give you his contact information. He's the co-director of this organization development committee that I'm part of, and that's one of the topics. But within North America, he lives in California, and he's organizing a group of people, and do you know Ajita Das? Avelo Roy. So, yes. Okay. Okay, but he's now been requested by Gopal Bhatta to head up a North American group. So contact Ajita, say, hey, tell me about this. Maharaj was speaking about this group. He probably already has you in mind. Gopal Bhatta wants him to be the organizer of this effort for North America. But the bandwidth is going to start more simply with internet presence that they already have, of their websites, and loading up their websites with something that's useful that will probably then include these social media things from their website, or at least link the social media to the website, or however you do it, I don't know. But they know. Okay? Okay. Looks like we're good. Huh? Bhagavatam, go ahead. You take the microphone. You go. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Please repeat along with me the prayers. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare